Hi, this is Erin from Blossy Bee. Welcome to my channel. The plan for this video is to create a pair of bird ornaments and a matching lidded pot. And I'm going to be using moulds recently purchased from Temu and AR400 Eco casting powder. I'm also going to embellish the birds with some hand-drawn Posca pen art and then seal all of the items with Buan Nicole sealer wax. So I have decided to create a marbled effect with these two bird ornaments, and I'm going to keep one of my quantities of the casting powder white and the other I'm going to tint with some Artko pigment in the colour Ocean Blue. So I'm just stirring it all through, making sure everything's nice and smooth. Now, this AR400 casting powder is purchased from Harry and Wilma in Australia, and I'm really enjoying using it. So it's a two-part mix. So you have the powder, and then you just use water right from your tap, and you mix that in a 3:1 ratio, and I just measure it by weight on my scale, so it's super easy. And it's water-based and eco-friendly, and it sets in just 40 minutes, which is really good. And you've got about 15 minutes of working time, so you don't have that heart racing anxiety that you do with some products that have a much faster curing time. So I'm just going to tint this base, and then I'm going to add in some darker colour just to try and increase the effect of this marbling. So I really wanted to end up with a really beautiful dark blue and white pattern all over. And yeah, the marbling with the two different colours is not something I've done before. So at this stage, I'm sure I was fingers crossed that it would work. And the AR400 is a very liquid mixture, which makes me feel fairly confident about it getting into all little nooks and crannies. So these two moulds are ones that I just recently purchased from Temu. If you would like to see me unpacking that order, it's in the last video I uploaded before this one. I got lots of lovely moulds. So I'm just sort of learning as I go here, pouring in little pieces of each one, and it's difficult for me to know what it will look like from the other side, but I'm just trusting the process. Just popping it in all over. So these little birds have got a cutout piece in the middle in the shape of a heart, so I knew I didn't want to go over that, but apart from that, I just poured it all in. I am making a bit of a mess though. Just looking at this bag's making me feel a little bit anxious with the mess I made. And now I have got this little lidded pot set, but I realised quite quickly that I had actually only made enough for the pot and not the lid. But I do get to that, I promise. So I'm just alternating layers here into this little pot. And then I'm short of just the teeniest amount. So you will see me, what's the saying, robbing Peter to pay Paul. So I do end up going in and taking just a little bit out of each of the bird ornaments to top up the pot. I do often check the volume of new moulds by putting water into them and then measuring that amount of water, but I filmed this literally just moments after I finished the unboxing video. I just thought these birds were so cute and I couldn't wait to see what they looked like. And Yeah, so I'm just playing it by ear. But now I've done those, I will weigh them when I'm finished, and then I always just record that information for future makes. And I'm loving this blue colour. The Arc pigments from Just Resin have, I think, 5 different blue colours in their range, and I haven't used any of them. So this is my first blue, I think. I'm pretty sure. And this ocean blue is exactly the colour that I had hoped it would be. There's a beautiful range of porcelain that they do in, I think it is called blue and white, and I was really looking for that. And I love it. There is not one bubble. It is very smooth and it came out of the mould very easily. There is, though, some staining on my fingers from the blue pigment. So you will need to be careful if you are using this pigment and not mixing it in thoroughly, I think. But it's something that is dealt with later with the sealer wax. So it's not an issue. It was just something to keep in mind. And so now I'm going to go ahead and demould this pot. I have made this pot, I think at least twice before with an existing mould I had. And one of the times I think I completely ruined the lid, and the other time I couldn't find the lid. So, and both of those times I ended up having to sand off the lip inside where the lid actually sits. So I'm quite proud of myself that this one, the lip can stay. There was no sanding involved at all. And again, this just came out so beautifully smooth, and I loved the beautiful random wavy patterns. So remember I said that I would get to the lid. After I saw the pot, I knew that I had to prioritise making this. So I'm just going to go ahead and do exactly the same as before and try and get the colour as close as I can. And to start off with, when I'm tinting the darker casting powder, I'm literally only popping a little bit on a toothpick and then putting a little bit of that in. So it's very concentrated. And then I'll go ahead and pop a little bit more in, and then very roughly mix that in just to increase that marbling. Now the lid of this little pot, I wanted to make sure that it was solid blue. So I made sure that I would cast that first. And I also wanted to ensure that I could give it a little bit of a jiggle and get any potential air bubbles out. I'm not convinced I need to do this with this casting powder, but it's sort of habit now. It's probably a good habit. So I usually sort of tap the table or the tray or whatever I'm working on. And so again, I just go in alternating and layering up, effectively marbling the casting powder into the lid. So when it comes to demold time, I was a little bit nervous about the top of it, but I shouldn't have been because it was perfect. And very easy to demold. This casting powder is just so silky smooth and shiny and soft and cold. It's just lovely. So testing time, and yes, it fit. So I was quite happy with that. I think the 4 of these were quite cute, the 4 little pieces. So then I decided I'd go ahead and just highlight or accentuate the eyes of the birds. and I'm just using a white Posca pen. And after colouring, I just went in with a little toothpick just to make sure that if there were any bubbles in the ink or anything, that I got it sort of as far into that little eye area as I could. And then I did go in afterwards with some black, which you will see in a moment. I didn't video that. I'm sorry. So, very happy with the way that the Posca pen worked on here. In fact, I was so happy that I decided to go ahead and add some art. And I really wanted to try and emphasize the white on the blue. So using my white Posca 0.7mm 1MR pen, I just went through and created some very basic dot patterns, and knowing that if you do make a mistake with the Posca pen and you get to it quickly enough, you can just wipe it off quite easily and redo it. And so I'm just doing a little bit of a pattern here and there. It wasn't planned, it's all just free drawn however I wanted to at the time, just probably taking inspiration from my friendship rocks, my rock painting. And yes, so then I go ahead and do the larger bird as well. I wish these came in a set of 3. For some reason that would make me happy, but I have not been able to find a medium-sized one of these. If anyone knows of one, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. It would be exciting for me to make a little trio of these. The Posca pen doesn't take very long to dry at all, and when I'm satisfied that they have dried, and I've also let these sit now, I didn't mention that, I'm sorry, for 2 days, just to continue that curing process. And now I'm going to go ahead and apply the Buan Nicole sealer wax. And I'm using the sponge that they supplied to quite liberally coat each of the items. And then once I'm happy with that coat, I give it just a few minutes to sort of sink in. And then I'm going to use the soft cloth that they also provided and buff it. And it's a really lovely product to work with, this sealer wax. It is extremely soft. There's no smell to it. And I'm feeling very confident that it is going to seal in all of the colour and also protect the items from any moisture and fading. So yeah, very happy with this product. And it went over the Posca pen really beautifully. I actually find this part of finishing off the items that you make with an eco casting powder just so therapeutic, because you are really it's just your hands. Your hands are being used to finish off the product, and you can feel every little bump and every little line and every little edge. And yeah, it just reinforces, I think, that handmade element, which sometimes can be missing if you just pour something perhaps with epoxy resin and then it's popped out of the mould and that's really it. But these definitely taking it that extra step and protecting them like this. Yeah, it's a pretty special feeling. So after that has dried, I am so happy with them. And if you stay tuned to the end, you'll see them on my little turntable from Temu. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it very much. And here they are. Look at them rotating beautifully, my little pot and my little birds. Thank you again for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.